Hello YouTube, I'm Big Al 1982 and this is the Movie Reviewers 100. Apologise for my absence last week, being Christmas and New Year's, and when we were starting back I got a bit confused, and yeah, all the other guys started doing a video last week and I sadly didn't do a video for Samuel L. Jackson week. But it's a new year, new start. I hope you had a great Christmas and a great new year. And one of my favourite directors this week, and that is Christopher Nolan week here on the Movie Reviewers 100. Done many great film. For me, just a couple off the top of my head. The Batman trilogy, for one. Just all three great films. You got The Prestige, Insomnia. I've only seen a few times, but I enjoyed all since when I was watching it. But yeah, this week I thought I'd just talk about a film that I've recently watched. A film that a lot of people most probably had got for Christmas, or in the lead up to Christmas, coming out in December, and that film is the 2012 release, if you can see it a bit dark, of The Dark Knight Rises. This film I first saw in the cinema when it done the IMAX, with the great big seats and see on the big screen, and I come out of the cinema and I felt a bit like it was missing something. I felt I wasn't too sure with a few of the characters. The Bane voice I wasn't too sure on. I had a few doubts in my mind regarding the film. I like the ending, I must admit I did enjoy the ending, but to say mainly the Bane voice now I found a bit confusing, but still a great character, played by Tom Hardy. I say this brings back Christian Bale as Batman, all-star cast. You got Gary Oldman, you got Michael Caine, as I said, Tom Hardy in there as well, and Morgan Freeman coming back as well. I don't know if it was personally me in the cinema. I'm getting to the stage now when I'm not enjoying the experience in the cinema. I like to keep seeing on the big screen. I really did like sitting in the IMAX screen and sitting in the big comfortable seats. But I think it's a case of being an overcrowded cinema. With popular films like The Dark Knight Rises, you're always going to get lots of people in there, and the fact of you have people blocking your view, maybe making noise, lights from mobile phones going off or whatever. But yeah, the experience I watched at home on Blu-ray, I enjoyed it a hell of a lot more, and watching it on Blu-ray at home sort of ironed out some of the problems and some of the faults I had with it in the cinema. The Bane voice I found at home a lot easier to understand here, and it's sort of, yeah, it's a very sort of one of them voices now that's going to be parodied in a lot of future films, and I'm sure the guys who do like superhero movie and scary movies and that will do the Bane voice eventually in the future, because it's one of them. It's like when the Batman's voice come out, a lot of people imitated that, and Tom Hardy's voice being stranger in this film, I suppose people will parody it. For me, with being the third in the trilogy, he wanted to answer a few questions, which I feel it did answer a lot of the questions ironed out. I thought Anne Hathaway's character of Catwoman was a pretty good part, and Justin Gordon-Levitt, I thought that he played a really good part in it as well. The only thing I could say about him is that he runs funny. He runs with his wobbly head in it, but other than that, it's a great film by this Christopher Nolan. He knows how to tell a good story. He's made the Batman trilogy an epic trilogy. It's definitely one of my favourite trilogies of all time now. It's up there with the Star Wars trilogy for me. And yeah, I think watching it at home, the experience at home, I got, as I said, got more of the story and that than I did in the cinema. It's nice to be in my home comforts. Visually, this film was really good. In the cinema, the opening scene when it introduced Bane, I was a bit like, well, this isn't as good as the bank robbery scene in The Dark Knight, and I still stand by that. I don't think it is as better than The Dark Knight with the Jokers being revealed, but I enjoyed it a lot more, as I say, watching it at home. Yeah, I thought it was a lot better. I say this film has its flaws. For a start off, with the police being underground, they're under there for a amount of time, not a couple of hours, but maybe a couple of weeks, a couple of days. I can't particularly remember. But they haven't got no fatigue or anything. They literally just run out and attack, go fighting, all fighting. But if you remember back to the Chilean miners, sort of when they come out of the mine, admittedly they were down there for a lot longer. They were really fatigued and they could barely move because all their muscles are seizing up and they had no food or water. So you'd expect them to have a bit of hard to fight back sort of thing. The sort of things like that. But I suppose it being a comic book movie, you can't really take everything into mind like that. But overall, it answered a lot of questions from the first and second film. Nice sort of twist in the end there, which was a bit obvious, but it was nice and yeah, enjoyable film. And I would recommend you checking out The Dark Knight Rises. For me, personally, The Dark Knight is my favourite of the trilogy. Then the Batman Begins, and then The Dark Knight Rises. I think the more times I watch The Dark Knight Rises, it may equal Batman Begins, but for me, the best one out of the trilogy has to be The Dark Knight, with Heath Ledger's performance as a Joker. For me, I'll always push it in front of The Dark Knight Rises. But yeah, overall, great films from Christopher Nolan, an amazing storyteller of this generation, and I look forward to all the great films to come from him in the future. And I'm looking forward to his input into the Man of Steel Superman film coming out this year, I believe. And yeah, this is the Movie Reviewers 100. Look forward to everyone else's review this week. Hope you all have a great 2013, and I've been Big Al 1982. Have a great weekend.